Welcome to MCN and everything you needed to know about the 2025 Aprilia Tuono V4 Factory 1100, starting with what's new. It costs £18,950 and being the top spec factory version, it comes with semi-active Olin suspension and a full complement of lean sensitive rider aids. Aprilia have upped the capacity of its V4 from 1077 to 1099cc to match the RSV4. Throttle bodies go from 48 to 52mm and there's a new Euro 5 Plus exhaust with a repositioned cat to keep the heat away from the rider. Power is boosted from 173 to 178 bhp and there's more oomph below 6,000 RPM. It's still the most clothed of all the Super Nakeds, but its bodywork and small screen have always been welcome on the road and track. Styling is all new for 2025, except for the generously sized 18-litre fuel tank. The tail has MotoGP inspired Stegosaurus fins, as well as a new ribbon-like front wings, increased front downforce by 2.5 kilos at 155 mph, as well as keeping hot air away from the rider, along with more powerful radiator fans. Stop and tail lights are now part of the rear indicators, making them and the number plate holder easier to remove for track days to give the Tuono a racier look. The RSV4 base chassis is unchanged, as are the Brembo M50 monoblocks, but there's a new rear suspension linkage. It raises the back end by 12mm, increases the shock stiffness by 9% and its damping by 8%. Fueling and the electronic rider aids have all been refined. Traction control is now adjustable on the fly and there's a new slide control system. It also has predictive anti-wheelie, stopping the front wheel from leaving the tarmac before it's even cleared for takeoff. It works using the IMU readings and wheel speeds as before, but now rider weights is part of the equation. You'll need to plug in your details into the dash before it's activated. The factory also comes with launch control, the pit lane speed limiter, new dash graphics, a lighter new lithium battery, backlit switchgear, cornering LED headlights and cruise control. The corner-by-corner rider aid adjustment system is also available as an accessory, which is a first for a road bike. It lets you change traction, wheelie, engine and suspension damping control settings at every corner of a racetrack via a computer or app. Other accessories include carbon and billet aluminium trinkets, tyre pressure sensors and an SC Project slip-on can. This factory version is only available in black. So we're here at Mugello racetrack in Italy, an absolutely amazing place. We've been riding the bike mostly in the damp and in the dry on wet tyres, on Michelin wets. The bike comes on Supercorsa Pirellis as standard, but we've also managed to spin a few laps on sticky Michelin Supersport tyres in the dry, and that bike is nothing short of sensational. Is the power hike enough? Well, I don't really think it needed it in the first place. It's got a few more bhp, which is good for pub bragging figures, but it's going to be more than you'll ever need on the road. And even at a wide open Grand Prix track like this, it's just the right amount. The power delivery is a lot smoother this year. There's less jerkiness when you pick up the throttle. It is just so smooth. The power's linear. It sounds absolutely fantastic. That V4 is just to die for. And for a Super Naked, I think that's probably about the upper level of power before it stops being fun. 200 horsepower is good on paper, it's good when you say it, but really 200 horsepower, all that good stuff so far away from your kind of normal riding zone that it's kind of irrelevant, and a bit below it becomes a little bit boring, whereas the Tuono you could never say is boring. That engine is unreal. So we've seen that it's got new aero for this year. The tail unit's even got those Stegosaurus fins like a Grand Prix bike, and it's got the wings. Do they work? Probably. I mean, they wouldn't be there if they didn't. It's more than just a marketing gimmick. MotoGP bikes have them, super bikes have them now, so they're obviously useful. Although strangely, when you see a rider lose a wing during a race, it doesn't really seem to affect them. The Aprilia doesn't wheelie out of corners here, maybe because of the wings, but also because of the way the bike's mapped, the way the suspension is set, and also this predictive anti-wheelie system, which is just superb. On a super naked, on a track with kind of second and third gear corners, without a good wheelie control, it's either going to be wheeling, which is good fun, but you've got to kind of either let off the throttle or climb over the front to control it. Some wheelie controls are too intrusive and you just feel like you're hitting a brick wall when you're on the throttle, but the wheelie control on this is just superb, as are all the other electronics. I mean, Aprilia have got it so right with the traction control, with the engine braking control, the quick shifter is beautiful, and this anti-wheelie. On a bike with 170 odd horsepower, probably doesn't need it as much as a super bike, but it just makes this Tuono so easy to ride. It's the easiest Tuono V4 to ride they've ever made, and it's always been easy, which is why it's won our Super Naked group test year after year after year. And now it's just edged towards perfection that little bit more. The Tuono's front end has always been one of its best traits, and it's still there. The Aerodynamics suspension gives a really velvety ride. There's loads of control, but mostly there's an amazing feeling for grip. And the suspension generates grip as well, just the way it pushes the tyres into the tarmac. It's just delicious. And elsewhere, the handling is just superb. Loads of ground clearance, really easy to change direction, really stable, and it's a bike that just flatters its rider. It's like the best bits of an RSV4 with none of the bad bits, so the power isn't too hard to control. The riding position is a lot more neutral because you've got wider bars, so it's easier to move around and it's easier to place where you want on the track. Okay, the wind protection isn't as good and maybe there's not as much weight over the front end, but it's minimal. And to be honest, if I was going to do a whole track day or maybe multiple track days, I'd probably choose a Tuono over an RSV4 just because it's so much more forgiving and easy to ride. As we've said many times, the Tuono V4 has got one of the best engine notes around, just the way it yowls, that kind of ghostly wail that it's got here at Mugello, bouncing off the grandstands and the pit wall and the hillside. The sound is just incredible. And if you're ever near a main road and you hear some bikes in the distance, you'll often be able to pick out a V4 because they've got such a distinctive sound, close to a cross-plane crank 4. So in terms of the oral excitement of the Tuono, it's 10 out of 10. Is it practical? Well, let me see. So, of all the Super Nakeds, there are definitely more practical Super Nakeds. The KTM and the BMW definitely are. There are kind of more fun Super Nakeds. Maybe the KTM would tick that box, more super moto-y. There are definitely more powerful Super Nakeds, things like the M1000R and the new Street Fighter V4S, which I haven't ridden yet. But the Tuono is unique in that it kind of is a mixture of everything. It does everything, and best of all, if you've got sports bike blood coursing through your veins, is going to tick that box massively. It is a very friendly, easy to ride superbike with a more comfortable, practical riding position that you could easily go touring on this bike. Like any Super Naked, you could take it to the shops. In terms of having a really high performance bike that you can use all the time, the Tuono is that bike. It just does everything. It is incredible. We've been riding the 1100 factory version of the Tuono. There is a base model as well, which has got lower spec suspension, mechanically adjustable instead of the Öhlins electronic. But apart from that, there's not a lot between them. The factory's got slightly more electronics, but you can boost those with extras with the standard Tuono. I'm lost for words really. Every time I ride a Tuono in anger, it is incredible. It really is. We're going to be pitching all the Super Nakeds head-to-head soon, so keep an eye out for that test. And there's no question that the Tuono will be in podium contention, as it always is. Aprilia have just taken what is already an incredible Super Naked and just made it that bit easier, more friendly and less demanding to ride. And it's still exciting. It still gets the blood pumping. It still sounds incredible. mean, what more can I say? I think it's fair to say I like it. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.